organisms. Now, even the recorded lectures, na-share ko na. However, siguro may mga naiwang blanco. Okay? So, just to recap, umpisahan ko na. Okay, i-share ko yung screen. Saglit. Share ko lang yung screen. Okay, nakikita ba what is projected sa screen? Nakikita ba? Pwedeng sumagot?
Yes po, Doc.
Okay, so sige. Game. So, another important group, yung anaerobes. Now, in the laboratory, seldom do we encounter the anaerobes, di ba? If we consider oxygen requirement, you have the aerobes, you have facultative anaerobes, you have microaerophiles. Usually in the laboratory, itong mga bacteria na to, the aerobes, the facultative anaerobes, the microaerophiles, sila yung usually na e-encounter sa lab. Okay, sa totoong buhay, we seldom encounter anaerobes. And doing anaerobic culture is quite difficult. Okay? Mahirap mag-culture ng anaerobe kasi in the process, you have to prevent exposure sa air. Okay? There should be no exposure sa air. Kasi pag nagkaroon ng exposure sa air, uulitin mo kung ano man yung ginawa mo. Okay? So I repeat, if we consider oxygen requirement, okay, classified as, okay, so kung ang i-consider natin, oxygen requirement, so number one, you have strict aerobes. So pag sinabing strict aerobes, ibig lang sabihin obligate aerobe or aerobes. So pag strict aerobe class, these are bacteria requiring 15 to 21% oxygen. Okay? 15 to 21% oxygen. So classified as aerobes, you have Mycobacterium, you have fungi. Okay? Okay. So kung halimbawa aerobes kayong lahat, without oxygen, madededs ka. Okay? So those organisms requiring oxygen for growth, we classify them as strict aerobes or obligate aerobes. Now, there are some requiring only small amount of oxygen. Those requiring small amount of oxygen, 5% oxygen lang ang need nila, we classify them as microaerophilic. Okay? Nabanggit ko rin naman itong mga sinasabi ko, nabanggit ko na ito sa inyo nung prelims, di ba? If we consider oxygen requirement, you have number one, the strict aerobes or obligate aerobes. Number two, you have microaerophilic. When we say microaerophilic, they need only small amount of air. So example ng microaerophilic, si Campylobacter. Okay, si Campylobacter. Another example, si Helicobacter pylori. Okay, Campylobacter and Helicobacter pylori are classified as microaerophilic. Now, those bacteria that can grow or that can produce growth with or without air, we classify them as facultative anaerobes. Okay? Member of the Enterobacterales group, yung mga Salmonella, Shigella, si E. coli, all of those are facultative anaerobes. Now, Staphylococci in general are likewise facultative anaerobes. Okay? Now, those requiring reduced concentrations ng oxygen are said to be aerotolerant. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng aerotolerant? Aerotolerant are those not growing well in the presence of air pero can still survive even we expose them to air. Okay? Now, strict anaerobic environment. those that do not really need oxygen are classified as strict anaerobe. Okay? So yung hindi talaga nangangailangan are said to be strict anaerobes. Okay? They need 0% oxygen. Okay? They die in the presence of oxygen. Now, usually, pag aerobe ang organism, ang kailangan lang na carbon dioxide ay 0.03%. So, say for example, aerobe ka. So, if you are aerobe, you need only 0.03%. Pero there are bacteria requiring increased CO2. And those requiring increased CO2, we classify them as capnophilic. We classify them as capnophilic. So uulitin ko lang, in the laboratory, seldom do we encounter anaerobes. Seldom do we perform culture. Okay? Pero just like other types ng bacteria, the anaerobes are also important. Okay? They are also significant kasi they cause a number of diseases, a number of infections. They are also involved sa mga infections. They are also involved sa disease. Okay? So example ay Actinomyces israeli. So Actinomyces israeli is a cause of actinomycosis. Pag sinabing actinomycosis, it is a disease affecting soft tissues. It's a disease affecting soft tissues. Okay, can be agents ng bacteremia, yung Bacteroides fragilis group, also Fusobacterium. Okay? Clostridium perfringens, Septicum novyi, they all cause gas gangrene. Nagkukos sila nung tinatawag na gas gangrene. Pseudomembranous colitis is due to Clostridium difficile. Okay? So kung sasabihin mo ay ganito, ma'am, di po ba tapos na tayo sa spore formers? Di ba pag sinabing spore formers, Bacillus at saka Clostridium. Okay? We are done with spore formers matagal na. Pero take note, ang Clostridium, in general, they are classified as anaerobe. Kaya nababanggit ko pa rin siya ngayon dito. Okay? Now, in the detection of anaerobes, may mga dapat tandaan. Okay? So specimen, okay, or specimens for anaerobic detection, number one, must be collected from actual site. And like what I've said, during processing, during collection, we need to prevent exposure sa air. Okay? And to make sure na mape-prevent ang exposure sa air, all collected specimens must be transported and processed to the lab immediately. Okay? So immediate transport, immediate processing is required. Okay, bakit kailangang i-transport agad? Bakit kailangang i-process agad? That is to prevent exposure sa air. Okay? Now, if in case there is a delay in processing, okay, if processing of the specimen is to be delayed, to be carried out at a later time, tandaan mo, class, ang specimens should not be refrigerated. Okay? Hindi pwedeng i-refrigerate. Kasi refrigeration can lead also to exposure sa air. Pag ni-ref natin yung specimen for anaerobic detection, there is likelihood of what? Exposure sa air. Okay? Material for anaerobic culture is best obtained by biopsy or aspiration or aspirate. Okay? Tandaan mo, class, for anaerobic culture, specimens, the best specimens are those collected through biopsy or through aspiration. Okay? Ano yung pinaka-acceptable for anaerobic culture? Tissue biopsy at saka aspirated fluid. Generally not recommended for collection of specimens for anaerobic culture ay swab. Okay? Ano ang pinaka-okay? Biopsy tsaka aspirated fluid. Ano ang hindi pwede for anaerobic culture? Swab. Okay? So this is the reason, class. Okay? This is the reason why sa handouts mo, in-include ko itong chinikan ko. Okay? In-include ko itong nakaproject. You have here the list of specimens suitable for anaerobic culture. Katanggap-tanggap. Na pag ito ang tinanggap mo sa lab, tapos ang request anaerobic culture, you may accept and process the specimen. Okay? So, ito namang nandito na nilagyan ko ng X, when all of these are submitted to the lab, pag ito ang na-receive mo, the rule is to what? The rule is to reject. Okay? Kunyari may dumating na rectal swab sa lab, tapos ang request anaerobic culture, the rule is to reject. Kung ang dumating sa lab ay throat swab, nasopharyngeal swab, tapos ang request anaerobic culture, the rule again is to reject. Okay? Lahat ng specimens collected via swabbing must be rejected. Ire-reject mo pag ang request ay anaerobic culture. Okay? Okay. So you have here the different specimens that we usually process in the lab. Okay, you have here the different specimens that we usually process in the lab for anaerobic detection. Okay, for anaerobic detection. So yung aspirates, okay, pag sinabing aspirates, we collect the specimen using needle and syringe. Okay? So following collection, yung na-collect mo na fluid must be injected into an oxygen-free transport tube. Example of this, yung tinatawag na PRAS. Okay? Okay, kunyari paa ito, paa. Okay, tapos magko-collect ako dyan ng specimen. Okay? Kasi magro-rule out ako kunyari ng gas gangrene. Okay? Due to Clostridium perfringens. So I will collect aspirated fluid dito sa tinuturo ng arrow using needle and syringe. And following collection, saan ko siya ilalagay? So after collection, pwede ko siyang ilagay sa oxygen-free tube. Example ay PRAS. Okay? So ano ba yung PRAS, class? Okay? PRAS stands for pre-reduce. It stands for pre-reduce anaerobic, sterilize. Pre-reduce anaerobic, sterilize. Okay? Okay, next. Yung swab, okay? So kung aspirate yan, aspirate yan, class, at medyo malapot, okay? Yung aspirated fluid, halimbawa, pus field, punong-puno ng pus. So most likely malapot yung specimen. So kung malapot yung yung specimen, kailangan mong i-vortex. Okay? Kailangan mong i-vortex. Pero kung non-purulent ang specimen, pwedeng directly, okay, i-culture mo na, directly pwede mong gamitin for smear preparation. Okay? Now, what about yung swab? Okay, swab in general, it is not acceptable. Generally not acceptable ang swab. Okay? Pwede ang swab only in emergency cases. Okay? Okay, acceptable ang swab if biopsy or aspirated fluid may not be collected or will not be collected. Okay? So, they should be used only, yung swab must be used only when aspiration of material is not possible and a biopsy specimen is not available. So, kung swab yan, ganun pa rin ang rule. must be transported under anaerobic condition. Okay? So yung swab, ilalagay mo sa thioglycolate broth. Then after that, ivo-vortex. Now take note yung thioglycolate sa totoong buhay, sa dinami-dami ng culture media na pwedeng gamitin for anaerobes, sa totoong buhay, ito ang ma-encounter mo sa lab. Okay? Thioglycolate can be an all-purpose media sa laboratory. Kasi pag sinabing thioglycolate, hindi lang yan pang anaerobe. So kunyari this is thioglycolate. Nag-inoculate ka sa thioglycolate. If after incubation, growth is at the bottom. Okay? Kunyari gumamit ka ng thioglycolate, yung growth ay nasa ilalim at the bottom, most likely ang tumubo ay anaerobe. Okay? Pero if the growth is towards the end, okay? Nag-inoculate ka sa thioglycolate. Tapos yung growth nasa medyo taas. Okay? If it's towards the surface, pag nasa taas, most likely ang dinidil mo ay aerobes, strict aerobes. Pero if the growth is all over, diffuse growth, even growth, okay? Diffuse all throughout the media. Okay, gumamit ka ng thioglycolate, tapos may growth sa buong media, most likely ang dinidil mo ay facultative anaerobe. Nagets? So pag sinabing thioglycolate, we do not use it only for anaerobes. Pwedeng tumubo ang aerobes, pwede ang facultative anaerobes, pwede rin ang anaerobe. Okay? Okay, another acceptable tissues, di ba? So yung tissues, collected yan either through biopsy or autopsy. Okay? The small pieces of tissues, okay? The small pieces of tissues. Time first, may nalaktawan under swab. So yung swab, di ba, generally not acceptable. Okay? Not acceptable yan. Okay? And to prevent exposure, halimbawang swab ang manner ng collection kasi wala nang choice. Yung specimen collected through swabbing, pwede mong ilagay sa transport media for up to 48 hours at room temperature. So anong transport media ang pwede? We can use AMIS, transport media. AMIS medium. Okay? We use AMIS medium. Next, yung tissues, the small pieces of tissues, bago natin yan i-process, kailangan mong, bago ka mag-culture, bago ka maggawa ng smear, kailangan mo munang i-homogenize. Okay? Tissues must be homogenized prior to preparing smear and prior to doing culture. Again, yung mga tandaan mo class, yung mga specimens submitted for anaerobic culture talagang dapat ilagay sa transport media to prevent exposure sa air. So in the case of tissues, can be used as transport media pa rin ay PRAS. Okay? Okay. Blood is likewise submitted for testing. Blood is a sterile specimen. So kung ako yung medtech, magko-collect ako ng blood, usually sa totoong buhay, pag blood culture, magpe-prepare ka ng 2 to 3 sets. 2 to 3 sets. Okay? 2 to 3 sets. Okay. Pero sa totoong buhay, 2 sets lang. Okay? Bakit dalawang sets? One for aerobic culture, the other for anaerobic culture. Nagets? Okay. Blood, pag kinolek, kung ikaw yung pasyente, ako yung medtech, magko-collect ako ng blood twice. Okay? I will collect blood twice. Okay? If the patient is adult, I will collect 20 ml from each arm. Okay? From each arm. So, ang total amount ng blood na i-collect ko ay 40. 20, okay, sa kada braso. Okay? Pero hindi 'yon hindi magkasunod na magkasunod. Collection of blood must be carried out 1 hour at 1 hour interval. Okay? Ikaw yung pasyente, nag-collect ako sa left arm ng 20 ml, after 1 hour, magko-collect naman ako ng another 20 sa kabilang braso. Okay? So kung ang tanong mo, ma'am, pwede bang one-time collection na 40 ml? Again, the one-time collection of 40 ml, acceptable yan if, or it is acceptable only in emergency cases. Okay? Only in emergency cases. Okay? So blood for culture, tandaan mo class, blood for culture should not contain contaminants. It should not contain normal flora. Blood ay sterile, class. It is bacteria free. Kaya yung blood, pag sinubmit yan for culture, dapat walang contaminants, walang normal flora. So to prevent contaminants, to prevent normal flora, kung ikaw yung pasyente at eto yung braso mo, okay, kunyari yan yung kamay mo, dito ko sa nilagyan ko ng X, magtutusok, dyan ako mag-e-extract para ma-prevent ang contaminants, para ma-prevent ang normal flora. Before I do blood collection, ano ang dapat kong gawin? I will cleanse the phlebotomy site, I will cleanse the extraction site initially with 70 to 95% alcohol. Tapos kung i-alcohol, I will do iodine scrub. Okay, iodine scrub. Then after iodine, ang kasunod, alcohol rinse. Okay? Okay. Anong ibig kong sabihin yan? Ako si Medtech, ikaw yung pasyente. Kung ang request mo, blood culture, kung ang request mo, anaerobic culture, what will I do? Bago kita tusukan, lilinisin ko muna yung braso mo ng alcohol. Matapos kong i-alcohol, iodine ang kasunod. After kong i-iodine, alcohol uli. Okay? So hindi lang contaminants, hindi lang normal flora ang matatanggal dyan, pati libag mo tanggal. Naintindihan? Kailan mo lang to ginagawa? Ginagawa mo lang yung alcohol, iodine, alcohol in micro. In micro. Kasi kung ako yung pasyente, tapos ang request ko, CBC o kaya blood chemistry, no need to do this. Okay? Kung ako yung pasyente, may dala akong request, magpapa-CBC lang ako o kaya magpapa-FBS lang ako. Okay, BUN, CREA, cholesterol. So kukuhanan mo ko ng dugo, di ba? So kung kukunan mo ko ng dugo, alcohol lang. Tapos tusok na. Okay? Iba ang rule pag micro. Kasi pag blood, dapat walang contaminants. Walang normal flora. So to make sure you do alcohol, you cleanse the extraction site with alcohol, followed by iodine, followed by alcohol again. Okay? When doing anaerobic culture, dapat walang exposure sa air, di ba? There should be no exposure to air. So to prevent exposure sa air, okay, pwede kang gumamit ng anaerobic chamber. So eto 'yon. Okay? So sa itsura pa lang, expensive. This is costly. Okay? So dito mo ipaprocess sa loob. Dito ka mag-perform ng procedure sa loob. Itong dalawang chinekan ko are actually gloves. Okay? Ilalagay mo dyan yung kamay mo to allow you to handle materials inside. Okay? Sa loob nito ay walang oxygen. Okay? Kaya lang anong disadvantage nito? We call this as what? Anong tawag dito? We call this anaerobic chamber. Okay? Kung walang chamber, pwede kang gumamit ng anaerobic bag or pouch. Anaerobic bag or pouch. So yung itsura niya parang ziplock, tama? Parang ziplock. So, ilalagay mo yung mga plates na na-inoculatean mo na sa loob nito. Kasi inside the bag, inside the pouch, walang oxygen. Okay? Mukha siyang ziplock. So, ang tanong, mura lang ba ito? Mura lang ito. Kaya lang, ang problem dito, every after use, you discard. So, magastos din. Diba? So, ito, okay, this one is gas pack jar. Okay, na-mention ko na to. Dalawa yung jars sa micro. Gas pack jar at saka candle jar. Di ba? Gas pack at saka candle jar. Okay? This is, kumbaga, an efficient way to provide anaerobic environment. Okay? So, to prevent exposure sa air, ano ang dapat mong gamitin? Mamili ka dito sa tatlo. Okay? Next. How do we identify anaerobes in the lab? So, ganito yun, class. Pag dumating ang specimen sa lab, we process the specimen based on what is required. Okay? Di ba? Ito yung usual. Babanggitin ko muna yung usual na ginagawa natin. Okay? Sa laboratory, pag naka-receive ka ng specimen, ipaprocess mo yan based sa kung ano ang required. So say for example, this is CSF. Okay? Yung CSF, pag na-receive natin, hindi yan agad-agad ini-inoculate sa media. Kasi kailangang dumaan yan sa tinatawag na lysis centrifugation. Ise-centri ang CSF. So following centrifugation, there would be sediments. So yung sediments, yan yung gagamitin mo para makapag-prepare ka ng smear para ma-allow ka to perform gram staining o kaya acid-fast staining. Dito ka rin kukuha sa sediments ng i-inoculate mo sa media. Okay? Madalas, ito yung proseso na ginagawa sa lab. Okay? So yung specimen dumating, ipaprocess mo. Pagka-process, you do smear preparation, you do culture. Okay? And after you do culture, you purify, you subculture para makakuha ka ng pure isolates that will allow you to perform what? That will allow you to perform the biochem. That will allow you to perform susceptibility testing. Kasi doing the biochem test, doing AST will lead you to the identity of the species, to the identity of the organism. Naintindihan? Okay. Kaya lang yung kwento ko, hindi ganyan ang proseso pag ang dinidil natin ay ano? Pag ang dinidil natin ay anaerobes. Okay? Now, in the identification of anaerobes, we perform different approach. Iba ang proseso. Okay? 4 na approaches. So, number 1, the first approach is, kunyari, ito yung specimen. Okay? Ang request nito, anaerobic culture. Okay? So, the first step, the first approach in the detection of anaerobe is to do gross inspection of the sample. You do gross inspection of specimen. Okay? Tignan mo yung specimen. Ito yung specimen. I-check mo yung specimen kung mabaho. Observe for foul odor. Tignan mo kung may fluorescence ba. Okay, tignan mo kung yung specimen ay kulay itim or check the specimen for presence of granules. In other words, before ka mag-culture, before mo i-inoculate ang specimen sa media, i-check mo muna yung itsura niya. Okay? You do gross inspection of the specimen. So what is the importance of doing this? Kasi pag chinek mo, okay, you observe the specimen for foul odor, for fluorescence, for black color, for presence of granules. Kasi lahat itong binilugan ko lahat itong binibilugan ko, pag na-observe mo yan, sa simula pa lang, palatandaan yan na yung specimen na na-receive mo ay merong anaerobe. Okay? Presence of foul odor is a sign that you are dealing with specimen likely to contain anaerobe. Okay? Punta tayo dito. So ano ang pwede mong matuklasan if you do gross inspection? Okay? Examples of anaerobe. Okay? What are the anaerobes that can emit foul odor? Okay? So yung Fusobacterium porphyromonas, these are anaerobes that can emit foul odor. Kung ang specimen positive sa Fusobacterium porphyromonas, mabaho yun, tiyak. Okay? Prevotella. Prevotella, okay? Prevotella porphyromonas. Okay? Prevotella porphyromonas under UV. When the specimen is exposed to UV, pag present ang Prevotella porphyromonas, it will show brick red fluorescence. Brick red fluorescence. Okay? Okay. Ang Veillonella will show. Okay? Ang Veillonella naman will show red fluorescence. Nagets? Under UV. Okay? So, chinek mo yung specimen, hindi siya mabaho, hindi nagfo-fluoresce. Okay? Kung walang foul odor, walang fluorescence, check the specimen kung kulay itim. Okay? Under ordinary light. Okay? If the specimen appears black under ordinary light, then most likely yung specimen mo ay merong Prevotella o kaya Porphyromonas. Okay, Porphyromonas. Now, under UV, Prevotella porphyromonas can show fluorescence. Pero under ordinary light, they appear black. So, tinignan mo yung specimen. Hindi mabaho, walang fluorescence, hindi kulay itim. Check pa rin for the presence of what? Granules. Okay? So, actinomyces, Propioni, Eubacterium, Cutibacterium acnes, lahat ito are anaerobes that can produce granules. Okay? Okay. Kunyari, chinek mo. Okay? Kunyari, ito yung specimen. Okay? So say for example, you have here the specimen. So ano ang unang approach? Gross inspection. Tinignan mo yung specimen kung mabaho, tinignan mo kung kulay itim, tinignan mo kung may fluorescence, pero upon checking, hindi mo na-observe lahat ng binanggit ko. So what is now the next? The next step now is to do microscopy. Silipin mo na under the microscope. Okay? Bakit mo sisilipin under the microscope? Kasi baka makakita ka ng unique that would tell you na yung specimen ay merong anaerobe. Okay? So, if you do microscopy, then you need to prepare smear. And after smear preparation, you do gram staining. Okay? Kailangan mong i-stain. So, smears are recommended to be fixed using methanol fixation. Okay? 'Di ba sa laboratory, naranasan mong mag-gram staining, 'di ba? Okay. So, nag-gram staining na kayo tiyak sa laboratory. Now, in the preparation of smear, to fix the smear, usually we do heat fixation. 'Di ba? Okay, kunyari ito yung slide. Naglagay ka rito ng organism. We allow it to dry, then after that, we do heat fixation. Madalas, heat fixation ang paraan to fix. Pero pag ang dinidil natin ay anaerobe, hindi pwede ang heat fixation. Bakit hindi pwede ang heat fixation? Kasi there is a chance na ma-expose sa air. Okay? Okay. So if we do gram staining, dalawa lang yon, di ba? Gram positive, gram neg. Anong kulay ang gram positive? Violet or purple. Anong kulay ng gram neg? Red. Okay? So sa totoong buhay, pulang-pula ba? Di ba hindi naman pulang-pula? Pero to make it dark red, to improve staining ng gram-negative, okay, we use 0.1% fuchsin. Okay? We use 0.1% basic fuchsin. Okay? Palitan mo. Gawin mong 0.1. Imbis na safranin, instead of safranin, diba safranin is the counter stain sa gram staining. Instead na yan ang gamitin mo, palitan mo ng 0.1% fuchsin. Or, kung gagamitin mo pa rin yung safranin, tagalan mo 3 to 5 minutes. Okay? So ano yung pwede mong makita if you do microscopy? Pag sinilip mo, ano yung pwede mong makita na magsasabing yung specimen ay may anaerobe? Okay? So examples of anaerobes with unique appearance under the microscope. The one with bifid or bifurcated ends, tinuturo ng araw ganyan yung dulo niya, is Bifidobacterium. Bifidobacterium. Bifido is genus. Clostridioforme appears football shape under the microscope. The boxcar morphology, di ba, si Clostridium perfringens yan. It is Clostridium perfringens. The tennis racket is Clostridium tetani. Eubacterium alactolyticum, okay, it assumes wings of seagulls. Okay? So pag sinabing wings of seagulls, it is not always Campylobacter. It could be an anaerobe, si Eubacterium. Okay? Palisade. Ano yung palisade? Pag sinabing palisade, side-by-side arrangement. So example of anaerobe that shows palisade anaerobe, it is Cutibacterium acnes. Kasi pag aerobe, tapos palisade, okay, aerobe palisade, then this could be what? Corynebacterium diphtheriae. Naintindihan? Hindi porke palisade, okay, hindi porke palisade, Corynebacterium diphtheriae agad. Kasi may anaerobe na ganun din ang arrangement, palisade. And that is Cutibacterium acnes. Next, the safety pin appearance. Safety pin appearance under the microscope. This is not always Yersinia pestis. Okay? So, hindi porke safety pin, Yersinia pestis agad. Kasi pag safety pin, merong anaerobe that also assumes safety pin appearance. It is Bacteroides fragilis. Okay? Appearing like toothpick kasi ganito yung itsura niya. Tapered ends, tinuturo ng arrow. Okay? This is Fusobacterium nucleatum. Okay? Okay. Fusiform shape. Okay? 'Di ba typical rod, 'di ba cocci, bacilli, spiral. Round rod spiral, 'di ba? So cocci pag ganyan, bacilli pag ganito, spiral pag ganyan, 'di ba? Tignan mo itong tinuturo ng arrow ko na blue. Okay? So usually pag rod shape ang organism, yung dulo niya rounded. Rounded ang dulo. Yan ang typical bacilli. Pero not in the case of nucleatum. Kasi sa nucleatum nakita mo tapered. Not in bifido. Kasi in bifido with bifid ends, di ba? Okay. Ano yung fusiform shape? Okay, the group that appears to be fusiform, okay, ay si Leptotricha. Leptotricha. Okay? Nagets? So anong unang approach sa detection ng anaerobe? You do gross inspection ng specimen. Check the specimen kung mabaho, kung kulay itim, kung nagfuflores, kung may granules. Kung wala kang nakita sa mga binanggit ko, you proceed to doing microscopy. Okay? And to facilitate microscopy, you need to prepare smear and you do gram staining. Okay? Wala kang nakita sa gross. Wala kang nakita nung nag-microscopy ka. So ano ang kasunod? Ang kasunod, mag-culture ka na. Okay? Okay, mag-culture ka na. Tingin sa naka-project. Okay, ito yung bifido, bifid ends, di ba? This is boxcar of Clostridium perfringens. Okay? This is palisade arrangement. Okay? Palisade arrangement of Cutibacterium acnes. Okay? Hindi lang obvious. Appearing toothpick si F. nucleatum. Okay? Appearing like toothpick si F. nucleatum. So kung magkukulture tayo class, we use different set ng media. Okay? Paulit-ulit mong narinig sa akin yung blood agar, yung chocolate agar, yung EMB, yung McConkey, yung Lowenstein. Okay? We do not use any of those pag ang dinidil natin ay anaerobe. Okay? We use different set ng media for anaerobes. Okay? So examples of media for anaerobes, BBE, Bacteroides bile esculin. Okay, another one is KVLB. KVLB is kanamycin, vancomycin, lake blood. Okay? Okay. Narinig mo na yung EYA, egg yolk agar. Para saan ang egg yolk agar? We use egg yolk agar if we want to detect ability of the organism to produce lecithinase to produce lipase. Okay? CCFA, narinig mo na rin ito sa akin. Si CCFA para kay Clostridium difficile. Yung thioglycolate, kakabanggit ko lang, it can allow growth of anaerobes, aerobes, even facultative anaerobes. Okay? So obvious, ibang set ng media ang ginagamit when dealing with what? Anaerobes. Okay? So next, the media for anaerobes, kung lahat tayo rito ay anaerobes, hindi tayo basta-basta tumutubo sa kahit anong media. Kasi dapat ang media may vitamin K, hemin at saka yeast extract. The media for anaerobes should contain all of these. Kasi anaerobes, they require vitamin K, they need hemin, they need yeast extract. Okay? Sa dinami-dami ng media for anaerobes, what is the media that can provide the best recovery? The media that can provide the best recovery is CDC blood agar. CDC blood agar. The anaerobe that we use when doing quality control procedure, si Fusobacterium, okay, nucleatum. Nucleatum. Pag nagko-culture tayo ng anaerobe, when doing anaerobic culture, paulit-ulit kong binabanggit, bawal ang exposure sa air. And to prevent that, gumamit ka ng anaerobic chamber, gumamit ka ng anaerobic bag, or you use gas pack jar. Okay? You use gas pack jar. Okay? At what temperature? Okay? Gaano katagal tayo nag-i-incubate? When dealing with aerobes, when dealing with facultative anaerobes, we incubate 35 to 37 degrees, usually 24 hours. Kung anaerobes ang ikinukulture natin, we also incubate at this temperature. Gaano katagal? 24 to 48 hours. Okay? Anaerobic cultures are held for. Anaerobic cultures are held for 5 to 7 days. Okay? Kunyari nag-incubate ka. After 48 hours, walang tumubo. Wala pang tumutubo. Okay? Itatapon mo na ba? Hindi. You wait for 1 week. If after 1 week, walang growth, then dun mo palang i-discard. Malinaw? Okay. And usually, we wait for 10 days kung ang dinedetect mo ay actinomyces. Okay? Okay. Maaring wala kang nakita nung nag-gross inspection ka. Maaring wala kang nakitang kakaiba nung nag-microscopy ka. Pero pag nag-culture ka, meron ka nang makikitang kakaiba. Okay? So ganito yon class. Ganito yon. Kung ang specimen na na-receive mo sa umpisa pa lang mabaho na. Okay? Kunyari, ikaw yung medtech, may dumating na specimen, nung dumating may mabahong amoy with foul odor. Asahan mo, pag kinulture mo yan, it will also develop colonies with foul odor. Okay? Yung mga anaerobes na sa umpisa pa lang, sa gross pa lang, nagpo-produce na ng fluorescence, asahan mo, pag kinulture mo sila, they will also produce colonies that will show fluorescence. Naintindihan? Okay. Yung mga anaerobes na sa umpisa pa lang, kulay black na under ordinary light. Okay, asahan mo, pag kinulture mo sila, they will also develop colonies appearing black. Okay? Okay, again, okay, pag nag-culture ka, ano ang babantayan mo? Note again for foul odor. Okay, example ng anaerobe that can emit mabahong amoy. Remember si difficile? Si difficile, when we do culture, it will produce colonies with horse stable, di ba? Horse stable or barnyard odor. Barnyard odor. Okay? Si Fusobacterium, si Porphyromonas, pag kinulture mo sila, when we do culture, their colonies will also produce foul odor. Okay? Tingin sa drawing ko. Kunyari ito ay Bacteroides bile esculin, agar. Kunyari ito yung media, BBE. Nag-inoculate ka and after incubation, nagkaroon ng napakalalaking colonies. Ang lalaki ng colonies, more than 1 mm in diameter. So gray colonies with 1 mm diameter is highly suggestive of what? Bacteroides fragilis. So anong anaerobe? What anaerobe can develop very large colonies sa BBE? More than 1 mm ang diameter, Bacteroides fragilis. Okay? Okay. So what are the anaerobes that can develop colonies that will show brick red fluorescence on exposure sa UV or appearing brown to black on ordinary light? Again, these are Prevotella and Porphyromonas. Prevotella and Porphyromonas. Okay? Prevotella, Porphyromonas. Nagets? Okay, next. The double zone. We call this also target hemolysis. Sino lang ba ang target hemolysis? Si Clostridium perfringens. Okay? So kung ang sasabihin mo, di ba ma'am tapos na tayo sa Clostridium? Oo nga, tapos na tayo sa Clostridium, pero ibinabalik ko ngayon simply because ang Clostridium ay anaerobe. Okay? So examples of unique colony morphology. So si Actinomyces israeli, pag pinatubo mo yan sa plated media, it can develop molar tooth appearing. Okay? Molar tooth appearing colonies. Okay? Si difficile on BAP. Okay? On BAP will fluoresce. This will fluoresce chartreuse. Okay? This will fluoresce chartreuse. Pag sinabing fluoresce chartreuse, pinaganda lang. Ibig sabihin, yellow fluorescence. Okay? Medusa head appearing colonies. So pag sinabing medusa head, it is not always Bacillus anthracis. Kasi may Clostridium na nagsho-show din ng medusa head appearing colonies at the same time, nagpapakita ng swarming. And this is Clostridium septicum. Okay? Tetany. Okay? Ano si tetany class? Si tetany can also show swarming. Can also show swarming. Colony ang iyang tinutukoy ko rito. Growth sa media. Okay? Si Peptostreptococcus anaerobius is an anaerobe na pag tinignan mo yung colonies niya, mukhang normal lang. Walang kakaiba sa itsura, pero may sweet odor. Okay? Next. Okay, si Leptotrichia can develop raspberry-like Okay, raspberry-like colonies. Raspberry-like colonies. The red fluorescence can develop colonies that will show red fluorescence under UV. This is Veillonella. Okay? Can pit and corrode the agar, period. Narinig mo na yung pit and corrode. Okay, coverage ito sa quiz nung nakaraan. Si Eikenella corrodens can pit and corrode pero at the same time accompanied by bleach-like odor. Pit and corrodes the agar with bleach-like odor, that is Eikenella corrodens. Pero kung pit and corrode the agar lang, no unique odor, it is Campylobacter ureolyticus. Okay, this is now the new name. Kasi dati we call it Bacteroides ureolyticus. Nagets? Okay, si F. nucleatum. Okay, si F. nucleatum, if we do culture, it can develop 3 colony types. Some colonies may appear speckled, paulit-ulit yung term na speckled sa board exam. Okay, anong anaerobe ang nagpo-produce ng colonies appearing speckled? Okay, number 2, some colonies of nucleatum may appear breadcrumb-like or appearing like salt grains. Okay, mukhang asin sa liit. Appearing like salt grains, si F. nucleatum yon. F. nucleatum, okay, ininoculate mo siya sa media. Pag na-expose yan sa air, it will show or it will cause greening ng agar. Okay? Si F. nucleatum, pag nilagay mo sa plated media, iba-iba ang pwede niyang itsura. Some colonies may appear speckled. Some colonies are very small, appearing like breadcrumbs. F. nucleatum can make the agar appear green when exposed to air. So ano yung unang approach, class? Ulitin ko, balikan ko yung kanina. Okay? The first approach, okay, in the identification, you do gross inspection. Number 2, microscopy. Number 3, you do what? Okay, ano yung binanggit ko, class, na pangatlo? Mag-culture ka na. Pero doing 1, 2, and 3, hindi yan sapat. Kailangang mag-biochem test ka. You do biochem, you do additional tests. Okay? So, these are the different biochem tests. Okay? So, lalamanan ko na lang yung mga blanco kasi madali namang intindihin ito. So, yung catalase test, narinig mo na yan, prelim pa lang. So, in catalase test, gumagamit tayo ng 15% hydrogen peroxide instead of the usual 3 or 30. Tandaan mo, class, yung 3% is only for Staphylococci and Micrococci. The 30 is for Neisseria and Mycobacterium. Pero we use the 15 for differentiation ng Bacillus tsaka Clostridium. So hydrogen peroxide, so obviously ang positive ay bubbling. Okay? So the spot indole test. Naalala mo yung IMVIC, ibabalik ko lang yung IMVIC. Diba yung letter I sa IMVIC ay indole? Okay, ito bang indole test sa IMVIC kapareho ng spot indole? Hindi, magkaiba. Kasi in IMVIC, gumagamit tayo dito sa indole ng COVAX. Diba? COVAX ang ginagamit mo. Ano ang positive dyan? Pink to red. Naintindihan? Red ring at the junction. Okay? The positive result there is red ring at the junction. Iba yung spot indole test. Kasi in spot indole, ibang reagent ang ginagamit. We use para-dimethyl amino-cinnamaldehyde. Cinnamaldehyde. Nagets? Anong positive? Blue or green color. Okay? The spot indole test can be very useful pag ang dinedetect natin acnes. Okay? Other propioni, negative. Okay? So yung urease, narinig mo na yan sa ppm. Mag-inoculate ka sa urea agar, urea broth. We use phenol red as indicator. After incubation, we note for change in color. Okay, positive, pink, red, o kaya fuchsia. Okay? Okay. So you have here other tests to identify anaerobes. Okay? Now, many anaerobes can develop or can produce the following enzymes. Maraming anaerobe ang nagpo-produce ng lecithinase at saka lipase. Okay? So lecithinase lipase production can be very useful in the identification ng in the identification of the group Clostridium. Okay? Kasi production ng lecithinase at saka lipase, unique yan. Okay? Kanino yan unique class? Unique yan sa Clostridium. To detect the ability of Clostridium to produce these enzymes, gagamit ka ng EYA. Narinig mo na rin yan, di ba? Ano yung EYA? Egg yolk agar. Egg yolk agar. So anong positive result? Kunyari ito yung egg yolk agar, nag-inoculate ka. Positive result here is opaque zone around the colonies. Opaque zone around the colonies. Okay? Opaque zone around the colonies. Okay? Okay, next. You have potency this test. Okay? Ano yung potency this test? Anong pinagkaiba niya sa antibiotic susceptibility testing? Okay? So sana sa laboratory, pine-perform nyo na yung susceptibility testing. Kasi yung antibiotic susceptibility testing, dapat ginagawa yan sa lab. Okay? Hindi ko na i-explain dito yan kasi pang laboratory yan. Okay? So ano ang pinagkaiba nilang dalawa? Okay? Okay. Ano muna yung pinagkapareho? Kung gagawin mo yung potency this test, you will use antibiotics. When doing AST, you will also need antibiotics. Kaya lang, ang difference is that in AST, you can use any antibiotic that you want to test. Kahit ano, gusto mo lahatin mo pa ng antibiotics. Pero pag potency this test, 3 antibiotics lang ang ginagamit, walang iba. So what are these antibiotics? You have vancomycin, you have kanamycin, okay, you have kanamycin at saka colistin. Limited lang sa 3 antibiotics pag potency this test. Okay? So ganito 'yon. Kunyari, what is the media? If you will do potency this test and AST, gagamit ka ng MHA. This is the required media. Mueller-Hinton agar. So mag-i-inoculate ka dito. Kunyari MHA yan. So maglalagay ka ng antibiotics. Okay? Maglalagay ka ng antibiotics. Then you incubate. So after incubation, magkakaroon ng parang clear area around the disc. And you call that as what? Ang tawag mo doon, zone of inhibition. You call it zone of inhibition. So what will you do with the zone of inhibition? So you need to get the diameter. Susukatin mo yun. Okay, gaano kalapad yung zone of inhibition. So after you measure, you will interpret if sensitive ba, resistant ba, or intermediate ba. Okay? So after doing AST, after doing potency this test, ano ang aabangan mo? Ano ang i-measure mo? Zone of inhibition. Okay? So after measuring, i-interpret mo. In AST, 3 ang interpretations. Itong 3, sensitive, resistant, o kaya intermediate. Okay? Pero pag potency this test ang ginagawa mo class, 2 size lang, ang 2 sukat lang ang inaabangan mo. The more than 10 o kaya less than 10. Kasi pag more than 10 yan, sensitive. Pag less than 10, we report it as resistant. In other words, in potency this test, dalawa lang ang interpretation. In potency this test, dalawa lang, sensitive or resistant. Pero pag AST, ang pine-perform mo, tatlo ang interpretation. Could be sensitive, resistant, or intermediate. Malinaw? Okay. So, ano ang pinagkaiba nila? Ang AST will determine resistance, susceptibility of organism to antibiotic. Kunyari ginawa mo yung AST. Okay? Kunyari ginawa mo yung AST. Tapos ang result na nakuha mo, yung organism resistant kunyari sa penicillin. Resistant kunyari sa penicillin yung organism. Ito kunyari yung nakuha mong result sa AST. Ibig sabihin, okay, yung organism hindi tatalab sa kanya ang penicillin. And therefore, penicillin will not be given as treatment kasi resistant siya. Nasusundan? Pag sinabing AST, when doing AST, the result is true reflection of organisms' sensitivity resistance to a certain antibiotic. Pero pag potency this test, ganito yon. Okay? Kunyari, ginawa mo yung potency this test. Okay? Nung ginawa mo yung potency this test, ang result, yung organism sensitive sa vancomycin. So, kunyari, ito yung lumabas na result. Sensitive sa vancomycin. Okay? So, hindi porke sinabing sensitive to vancomycin, ay pwedeng ireseta ng doktor ang vancomycin dun sa pasyente para ma-deads yung bacteria. Okay? In other words, the result in potency this test is not true reflection of the organism's susceptibility or resistance to the antibiotic. Kasi ang purpose lang kung bakit mo ginagawa ang potency this test is only to verify, okay, to verify gram staining result. Only to verify the gram staining result. Naintindihan ba? Okay? To verify only the gram staining result. Okay? So sorry naman, hindi ko nalagyan ng harang. Okay, ganito yon class. Yung unang letter dito, resistant or sensitive, is the result for what antibiotic? Kay vancomycin. Yung pangalawang line dito, okay, is the result for kanamycin. And the third letter here is the result for what? Colistin. Okay? So, resistance sa vanco, sa kana, sa colistin, okay? Showing resistance to all three is Bacteroides fragilis. Okay? Sensitive to vanco, resistant to kanamycin, colistin is Porphyromonas. Okay? Porphyromonas. Nagets? Okay, next. May isusulat ka ba? So anong sabi ko? Anong unang approach? Gross. Pag wala kang nakitang kakaiba, mag-microscopy ka, gumawa ka ng smear. Pag wala pa rin, mag-culture ka. Pero hindi enough itong tatlo. Kasi para ma-identify mo ang species, you do the biochem. And these are the biochem. Okay? Nagets? Okay. So, you have here the result for the biochem. Okay? May blanco, tama? So, yung mga blanco, wala kang isusulat para hindi ka malito. Kasi yung nakablanco dyan, lahat yan would mean negative. Nagets? Lahat yan would mean negative. Next. Okay? So, additional info. Okay? Additional info about anaerobe. Okay? Anaerobes pa rin ito. Okay? Bacteroides fragilis is the most frequently encountered anaerobe in the lab. Although it's a normal flora, significant yan kasi it's involved in many infection. Si Actinomyces israeli is also significant. Okay, it can cause periodontitis. Periodontitis is a disease affecting oral cavity. It is also a cause of actinomycosis of the jaw, which we call lumpy jaw. Okay? Mobilincus is one of the many bacteria na nagkukos ng vaginosis. So, porke sinabing vaginosis, Gardnerella vaginalis agad. Kasi pag sinabing vaginosis, it could be due to Prevotella, could be due to Bacteroides, could be due to Mobilincus, which are all anaerobic. Okay? So other significant, you have Prevotella and Fusobacterium necrophorum. Okay? Necrophorum. Okay, I think, okay, etong lecture notes number 9, Spirochetes, nakashare sa inyo ang recorded, nabanggit ko ito lahat. Now, kindly check kung may mga maiiwang blanco. Halimbawa, pinakinggan mo yung recorded. Tapos sa recorded, hindi pala na-mention ito kunyari. Hindi pala ito na-mention. Okay? Kindly screenshot the part and send it to me. Naintindihan? Okay, pakinggan nyo na yung lecture notes, yung mga recorded. I will remove the access talaga. Okay, tatanggalin ko na yung access. Okay, so lahat ng remaining ay tapos na yan. Nasabi na yan sa lab. Okay? Nasabi na yan, rather, sa recorded lecture. Okay? Okay, so sige, we leave the meeting now. Okay, again, I reiterate, kung may nakapag-record, share it to me. Okay? Paki-share sa akin. Salamat.